Hey guys, today we're looking at lesson 7.1 and we're going to start with task 1. Arithmetic sequences defined recursively. Alright, this one says examine sequences and function notation. A sequence is a list of numbers in a specific order. Each number in the sequence is a term. Alright, the table displays parts of a sequence that models the total cost of piano lessons based on the number of hours of piano lessons. So you can see here the first hour is $50 and each hour after that is $75. The positions in the sequence give the hours of piano lessons and the terms in the sequence give the corresponding total cost. Complete the table for integer values of n from 1 through 10. Alright, so n is the number of hours. So n is the number of hours. So hour 1 is $50. And then hour 2 is 50 plus 75. If you look back up here, each additional hour is $75. Alright, then you add 75 more to get 200. And then you continue that pattern. So you're going to continue to add 275. So 200 plus 275. 275 plus 75 Alright, so if we just continue that pattern and then $75 for each additional hour, that's how we get the f of n, which is the number of terms. That would be the total cost of piano lessons for this number of hours for this exact problem. Alright, so it says use the table to complete these equations employing function notation to show the total cost for varying hours of piano lessons. So f of 5. So if we have 5 hours of piano lessons, how much does it cost? $350. For 8 hours, it's $575. And for 10 hours, it's $725. I did not realize piano lessons cost so much. All right. C, D, and E, which statements are true? Select all that apply. The domain is all positive integers. The domain is all positive numbers. Well, you can't have all positive numbers because that would be like square root of 2 or 1/2 or any positive number. So the domain is all positive integers. If you look, 1 through 10 are positive integers. That represents the number of hours that they take piano lessons. All right, the range is all positive integers, or the range is all numbers equal to 50 plus a whole multiple of 75. Well, since we are doing every hour is an additional $75, and we started with 50, this one is the better solution than this. And the ordered pair, 750, represents the fact that 7 hours cost $500. If we look back up here, 7 hours, $500. So that's just written as an ordered pair, 7, 500. 7 hours cost $500. That one is also true. So there are 3 correct answers there. All right, it says complete the statement. You can get blank hours of piano lessons for $350. All right, so for $350, you can get 5 hours of piano lessons. All right, if you have any questions about task 1, please let me know. Lesson 7.1, task 2. All right, this one says use recursive rules for a rhythmic sequence. An arithmetic sequence is a sequence in which consecutive terms differ by the same number d, called a common difference. The sequence of piano lessons cost in task 1 is an example of an arithmetic sequence with a common difference of 75. You can write a rule for an arithmetic sequence that describes how to find the nth term. A recursive rule for a sequence gives the beginning term or terms and then a recursive equation that defines the nth term by relating it to one or more previous terms. For example, the following is a recursive rule for the sequence of piano lessons cost. Alright, so it gives you the first term is 50, and then the rule or the equation would be f of m equals f to the n minus 1 plus 75. So n minus 1 just means the previous term. So whatever the previous term is, you're going to add $75 to that. All right, so look at this example here. The first 7 figures in the pattern are shown below. All right, so figure 1, you're looking for a pattern. So there's 1 block, there's 3 blocks, there's 5 blocks. All right, so what would come next? 1, 3, 5, 7. So 7 would be the next one. So it says draw figure 4 and 5. Enter the correct numbers into the blank. Figure 4 is a row of 7 squares. And then if it goes 1, 3, 5, 7, the next one would be 9 squares. All right, so this is just showing you like n minus 1 and n. So this is not your 4th and 5th row. This is just saying dot, dot, dot. So it skipped some and it's saying in general, this is what you would do. Okay, so the 4th row would have 7 blocks and the 5th row would have 9 blocks. All right, it says let S of n, the number of squares in the nth figure, write the first 5 terms of the sequence defined by S of n. Well, we had 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. So 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. And you can see a pattern there. You increase each one by 2 to get to the next one. All right, so the sequence defined by S of n is an arithmetic sequence because you're adding 2 each time to get to the next one. So again, remember up here, arithmetic sequence differs by a common difference, okay? So if you can add or subtract to get to the next term, that's considered an arithmetic sequence. The sequence defined by S of n has a common difference of 2. And fill in the numbers to complete the recursive rule for S of n. So S of n, or S of 1, so that is your first term, was 1. The number of blocks was 1. And then each time after that, you added 2 additional blocks to that. So each time this is going to be very similar. You're going to have your first term, whatever that is, and then what is your common difference you're going to add to that. All right, and this says for n greater than or equal to 2. And that's just restriction on the domain, so it's not going to be equal to 1. So it has to be greater than or equal to 2 to get to the next term, and so on and so on. All right, use the recursive rule to find S of 6 and S of 7. All right, we already found the first 5. So the first 5 were 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So number 6 would be 11. And then 13. So all we do is add 2 to each one to get to the next one. All right, your general rule, this is important, make sure this is in your notes. General recursive rule for an arithmetic sequence. A recursive rule for an arithmetic sequence with common difference D is given by f of 1 is the value of the first term, and then f of n equals f of n minus 1 plus d for all n greater than or equal to 2. All right, that's all for task 2. If you have any questions, let me know. Lesson 7.1, task 3. Use recursive rules for a arithmetic sequence. Number 3. The photo shows the cost of admission to an art museum. Let f of n the total cost in dollars of n visits to the museum during the same months. All right, so monthly admission. $25 for the first admission and $5 for each additional visit in the month. All right, fill in the 5 terms in the sequence defined by f of n. So f of 1, so your first visit is $25. Then you add $5 for each additional visit. So it's going to be 25. The second visit would be 30. And then 35, 40, and 45. Is the sequence defined by a rhythmic sequence? If we add a same common difference, we added 5 each time, then that makes it arithmetic. So yes, this is an arithmetic sequence. Fill in the correct number to complete the sequence. The common difference of the sequence defined by f of n is 5 because we added 5 for each additional visit. What does the common difference represent in this situation? The price of the first visit? No, because that was $25. The price of any single visit? Nope. The total cost of visiting the museum 5 times? Nope. The additional cost of visiting the museum again in the same month after the first visit. All right, so that is the correct answer. So the common difference, the $5 that you add, is the additional cost of visiting the museum in the same month after the first visit. So that would be the correct answer for that one. All right, it says fill in the numbers to complete the recursive rule for the sequence. All right, f of 1, we can go back up here and look, but remember f of 1 was 25. That's because it says the first admission is $25. And then the common difference is what you add to this equation. So 5 is your common difference. All right, what is the value of f of 8? All right, we didn't go to f of 8. We only went to f of 5. But 5 visits cost $45. So you've got to add 5 3 more times. So 45, 50, 55, 60. So 8 visits would cost $60. All right, what does f of 8 represent? The total cost of visiting the museum 8 times in a single month. The price of the 8th visit? Nope, not one visit doesn't cost that much. The total cost of visiting the museum monthly? Nope, because you have to visit that many times in a single month. And the cost for an additional visit after the 8th visit? No. So the only one that makes sense is the total cost of visiting the museum 8 times in 1 month. And again, you can go back and it talks about that at the very beginning if you have forgot. The photo shows the cost of admission to an art museum. F of n is the total cost in dollars of n visits to the museum during the same month. All right, that's all for task 3. If you have any questions, please let me know.